it just throws me off on my planning a little bit with you all, but we'll figure it out. So, shall we get some of the core bits down of my checklist, basically?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
And then I got questions for you all, because I have to go through this part, basically. The formal part of the list, but because even though we've been playing together, we gotta get through the formalities, basically. Some of the stuff I have is, and you might disagree with some of this. Like I said, this campaign, this is what I was talking about with everybody a little bit the other day, is you gotta decide if you want to play this campaign, I suppose, because it's gonna be a little different on my side as well. Just because I think I've learned a lot from last campaign as well, and previous campaigns of things that I think should, from everybody's side, including definitely mine, of making it a little easier to go, I think. So yeah, these sound like demands, but they're not, because a lot of it's on my side as well. I wouldn't take them that way. Whoops. Can you all see? Mm-hmm. So, basically, I wrote up a little thing. This is just to get my thoughts out. I know it seems so official, but this was just my brain dump of things to talk about in a session zero. I did the same thing when we started. The pitch for this campaign is basically a wedding and a caravan. We will probably be taking place around northwest Ashal to start out with. It will be around Kinnamberry, Opal Hollow, and Windjust Creek. And I got a little bit of vibes here of kind of how it is. It will be right at the beginning of fall, of autumn, instead of summer. Yeah, we'll be near the Sleepkin Wood, but not quite in it, unless you all go in it eventually. So there's that. There's the base of the mountains. That's where we'll start, but we could literally go anywhere. Because one of the themes of this campaign that I want is traveling. I love Bowcaster, but if you remember, Bowcaster was supposed to be a mini campaign that we turned into a long campaign. And I struggle a lot with that. And I'm down with you all staying in one place for a very long time, but I think I'm ready to get back to my roots as a DM of traveling and going to different places for adventure and going back to different places and finding places you like and going back to them and whatnot, and really choosing where you all go all the time instead of having one huge story in one little place. That's what I'm into. How does that sound? For starting somewhere and having it, and that's where the caravan comes in. The first session will basically be, and I've told some of you this a little already. It is the wedding and the caravan. So there's a wedding. I don't know the details yet, so I'm still in the brainstorming part. But there's a wedding with people getting married, and there's a caravan. This caravan company operates under the Ferric Emissary officially, but it also runs as its own small business, selling stuff, delivering packages for the emissary, as well as transporting passengers. With the caravan, in this wedding, the caravan is currently helping set up the wedding, because that's some of what they do. They're setting up the wedding, and they're delivering some of the guests here. They're transporting them to the wedding. So you all have two entrances. You can be a part of the wedding. You could be the cook. You could be security. You could be a groomsman, a bridesmaid, whoever. You could be an invited guest for a specific reason. Or maybe you're not supposed to be there and you're spying on somebody at the wedding. It's all up to you. Or you can be part of the caravan. You're helping set up. You're a roadie. You're one of the bodyguards for the caravan. You are whatever. And yeah, I know I've been talking a little bit about that for all of you. Probably in this session 2, we'll probably say caravan or maybe wedding. We'll
hang on. Sorry.
No worries.
My cat.
What's your turn?
This is a weird question.
This is my cat. I'm not sure if
Do you want me to? We're talking about something, so do you want to send it to me, and I'll show it to the guys once we're
Okay, I
finished.
just want to show you.
It's the legendary Nickland Bellevue. He saved a kid from a burning building. Let's see his superpower.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
I'll send it to you.
Send it through to me. Do you know how to?
Yeah, I'm exporting today.
Get mummy to help you.
Okay, so it's through Messenger Kids, so I'll messenger it to you.
Alright, can you close the door, Baba? Love you. Sorry.
No worries. What was your question, Drew?
Can they be from both?
Yes.
Cool. Thank you.
Yes, you can. Those are just opportunities, basically, to be there. It's one or the other, mostly, or even if you're not from it, you have a reason to. This is just finding reasons to be here. You know what I mean? So, somehow, some way, and you could be of neither of them, but somehow you're here. But there has to be some kind of anchor here, but definitely both as well could work.
Could be antagonistic to the wedding.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, either way there. As long as you are... One of the other requirements is after the wedding, whatever story happens at this wedding, whatever session or 2 sessions or however, whatever happens at this wedding, this story, because it's D&D, something's going to happen here, of course. Who knows? Our campaign will pick up on the caravan. After the wedding is done and over, we will continue with the caravan going someplace, because that gives us a plan of travel and to figure out where we go next. So even if you're part of the wedding, maybe you're like, I need to find a reason to be part of this caravan. Maybe I just find the travel convenient. Maybe the person you're looking for is on the caravan now. Either way, we pick up on the caravan. So you have to, no matter where you come in, we join the caravan afterwards. Maybe you just have a short-term goal of I need to get to Burity from here. The caravan will help me because it's D&D. Have a reason to go. But of course, with D&D, as we go, you'll get more wrapped up together. So you might just be like, I'll get on after the wedding's done. I need to go here. This caravan's very convenient. But of course, as our sessions go on, you all will be bonded together through a story. So anything works, really, as long as you find a reason to get on the caravan afterwards. And
You said to pick, say in this, if we were going to be with the wedding in the caravan. I already know which one I'm going to be with. Do you want me?
I wouldn't say why or how you're there, but I don't know. Should we say? I want to make sure there's variety, so we're not all wedding, all caravan.
I'm going to be with the caravan.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be a mix of both.
Okay.
I'm thinking on wedding side.
Yeah, you don't have to decide now. This
Yeah.
is just more brainstorm. Wedding side. And Pin, for you, I think you were...
I'm going to be there to try and engage with someone who is at the wedding.
Yeah, you're at the wedding. So we got 2 weddings, 1 caravan, and 1 both. That's a good spread of reasons. And it can change. Don't feel like you have to solidify that. I just want to make sure there's a lot of variety, basically. Oh, how does that pitch sound of the beginning of a story?
Cool, yeah.
And that's the plan, and we'll see where we go. Character explanations, like I said, this seems really formal. This is more of just brain dumping of mine to get my thoughts out. For this, I want to go... I know I've mentioned a couple of you already. I want to go pretty in-depth this one. That's why I said this campaign's going to be a bit more... I guess... I don't know what the word is, but I want to be able to have a lot to pull on from your backstories in order to give you all one hell of a story, basically. So, throw a backstory for this one, but leave gaps, of course, still, and have goals and whatnot and motivations. But for this one, I want. I know it's saying I want. I feel like I'm demanding. It's just.
It's your game. You can be demanding.
Yeah.
As you were.
It's more for this because I think these are the things I'm good at, and I think I can deliver a better story if I have. I loved the Bowcaster campaign, but I also struggled on this one a lot, and not because of you all, just because it was a whole different campaign this whole different vibe and skill challenge, I think, and I think I'm ready to take what I've learned from that and then combine it with what I've done before, and do it good. I think so. At least a few NPCs in your backstory, which are alive. Some can be dead, but of course some that I can play on that could show up at some point. These could be friends, family, enemies, anybody. We'll figure out who you are, where you were from, basically, in the past. And in this one, because, like I said, it's more in-depth, this campaign, I don't want to overload you all with documents, but what I want to do is give you all thorough, short cheat sheets. That way you all can ground yourselves to the world. Like, if we decide where you're from and where you've been, you'll have a page telling you everything about that town in simple matters, so you can pull up stuff without, worrying about it and just know where you've been. And you'll know that stuff as a player and as a character.
Mm-hmm.
So you could just look down your sheet and be like, oh yes, I know this about my place. I want to help you all basically solidify yourselves to the world easier, because the first, with the Bowcaster campaign, I didn't want to overload you all, and a lot of you were new, and I didn't want to do that. But now I want to put everybody into the world and see how to give you all more to do, basically, and have more connections and more story and agency. Ultimately, that's what this is for. A few elements of mystery are good. Keep a little, no matter how your backstory goes, few elements of mystery for me to tug on is good. It helps with goals, such as my father's powers are missing and he's dying. I'm out to discover why. I've discovered an artifact in my backyard, or I've changed recently and I've gotten powers. I'm not sure why. Leave some mysteries for me to tug on as well, and whether they're little or big. That way I can surprise you all, just like last campaign. And character goals. This is one that I think. I want to change this. Jesus. This is one that I definitely think we might need more of, because I think we need more. Balmoral was a little weird. It's like your classic D&D campaign. Everyone happens to be in the same place, same time, by coincidence. This one, you all are at a wedding and at a caravan for specific reasons. That could be as simple as I don't mean the wedding and caravan has to be the reasons you become a group. It's just you all are here for actual reasons rather than just walking through a town. You happen to see each other. But this is for character goals. First of all, the simple is figure out why you're here. And that can be literally, I am a guest. I know the bride. I know that's it. You can be as simple as that or as in depth at this place as you want. Because either way, as we adventure, you will become bound with one another and interwoven into your stories. So for the first few sessions, it can honestly be, we are just traveling together on a caravan. And as the stories unfold, you become intertwined. Short-term goals. These are important. Several of these, if you don't mind. Maybe you wish to go to a nearby town. Maybe you're heading to Birdie or to Aerith because you are to meet someone there. You have a business meeting. You are there to win back your love. Some short-term goals that are achievable that will motivate you in the first part. An example of this would be Zake was going to Bowcaster for ingredients. Like, that's the one I can think of right off the top of my head. It is little short-term goals and several of them probably, because that gives agency and direction in the very first part of the campaign. I'll send you all this document as well. And then 1 or 2 long-term goals that'll overarch the whole campaign. And these can be, 1 or 2 of them can be as simple as I want to open a restaurant or something, because it's still a long-term goal, but it's not huge. But at least one of the major ones have to be around your backstory. Find out who I am, find out why I'm this way, find out who's chasing me, find out whatever. These are the big goals. So a mix of both, basically, short-term and long-term. And I'll work with you all on those as well. I just want to make sure I have enough story to give you all a really nice time. Find a way. A lot of this stuff on here pertains to general groups and not you all, but I included it on here anyway because this is my new general session 0 document. So you all have no problem with this. Find a way for the character to adventure. I've played with people whose character was like, I hate adventuring. I want to go home. Well, then do it. You got to find a way to adventure. We're good on that. And that can be you're searching for a goal, helping us along the way, or you're forced to set out. It doesn't have to be as black and white. Working as a team. This one's one we talked about the other day. Is have your character take interest in other characters a little bit, or have them find a way to. Just because we talked about it the other day a little bit. This group didn't mesh well. While I love all of your characters, it was hard to mesh greatly. And we talked about that a little bit. And do you all agree with that, or am I?
Yeah.
There was always a
demands. Yeah, this document is demands. This is like open for discussion. So these are just my points of discussion, basically. So don't think this is my rules or anything. I want you all to disagree or discuss it if you want. But yeah, I definitely think there was that disconnect was there. Basically, the characters should have to care about who they're traveling with, whether that's out of curiosity, or them. Or for their own safety of, this person has a weird backstory thing that's happening right now. That could end up fucking me over at some point. Any motivation to kind of want to learn about your people eventually, can be many different ways. But ultimately, there should be some care by eventually of wanting to care about one another. Slumber and secrets is always good in certain ways, but it's good to spill beans every now and then. Because if you spill some beans, you might figure out that someone else relates to your beans. So yeah, that's good.
That's a huge one from my perspective. The spilling the beans. Like, until today, I didn't know anything about Creanta.
Yeah.
Or Cassian.
We had some secrecy. It fit the Bowcaster campaign a little more, with the secrecy of the Dark Scholars and whatnot. But I've realized that some secrecies aids to a little bit of that disconnect as well. So, and that doesn't mean first session everybody spills their backstories, but every now and then, maybe some slipping from everybody.
I think, like we were saying earlier as well, not only like not discovering much about Caxian and Creanza, but I didn't have enough secrets for Pen to drip feed as well.
Right.
Like that was an issue that I learned later.
Yeah, it's just a combination of things can lead to stuff in that basically.
Which is why the more thorough background would definitely help out.
Yeah, thorough background and taking interest in everybody and being willing to also spill beans every now and then, even if it's accidentally, on purpose out of character, but accidentally in character can also do some things too. PvP and drama's fine. I think everybody does fine with PvP in this. This is, like I said, this is a general thing. I think you all do brilliantly with PvP. Darash's and Penn's feud was amazing, and I love it. Because you all didn't let it. My thing on here for general stuff, and this is more if like we were to ever do like a one shot with anybody, or this is also the same session 0. I will show potential guests, so that's why it's on here. You all do absolutely fine. That feud didn't throw off the group. It didn't doom the group or anything, or throw off the entire campaign. You all do PvP fine.
But not every
no
group does, that's for damn sure. That's
why it's on here. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Because I've definitely had players who and been in groups where PvP derails everything. Does everybody agree with that about the PvP?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure. No evil characters. That was kind of a thing we've done before. That's a lot of D&D groups. It's hard. You can get pretty damn close with chaotic neutral though. That black and white. This is the big one where I want to talk to you all because this is about what happened last session and how we want to approach that from now on. Basically being in a sacrificing all yourselves is
MBL.
a little bit. That's where I want to talk about it because I know we all have different views on that. So this is more of a point of discussion rather than here. But my thoughts were these are basically my opinions on it. Is if everyone dies, story's over. We lost the campaign to that basically, and I don't want to party wipe everyone. If the dice rolls bad and people end up in shit situations and people die like Zake or something, like that sucks, but it's also narratively but if everybody just doesn't have a will to live, it ends the game.
Jumps onto the sword because it feels like there's no other way to do it.
That's where I struggle because at the same time I always love do your character how you would, but also at the same time we end the game if everybody dies without it being too natural.
No,
So, who's going first?
You go ahead.
Not me.
After that day, like, initially happened, I didn't have that time to decompress with you guys, and one of the things that I had thought about is when we are in a situation like that, go OOC. Stop the campaign. Literally be like, what are we doing? Do we know what is going to happen after this? We are literally going to die if we continue down this road. Do we want to do that?
I think check-ins are good.
Check-ins is good. I will fully say that one of my issues, and I understand this is my issue, and it actually made me talk to Milky about it. I play by my character, period. So I was gonna say I love this rule because I have even written it into his story that he's like this. So, with you giving that rule, it allows players like me, who is, I will die by what my character would do, period. I write it into a story that he is this type of person. So I love it. I think that having that rule is perfect, because it's already how I was writing my character, and it allows people like me to write their characters according to that. So no, I think that's fucking perfect. Though I do love out-of-character check-ins. I agree fully.
I think check-ins are great, and I'll echo Nick, because I mean, we've said it really, but the being authentic to our characters, particularly Nick and I, because we were the ones that caused it. The alternative of working with and succumbing to an evil that had oppressed us for 10 sessions was impossible. Like, the characters, it wouldn't fit. It couldn't fit with the morality of those two characters, and so fighting them was the only option. Fighting them was the only noble option, because collaborating with them was an impossible decision. I feel it was an impossible decision.
For those characters at that time, which is why...
in that specific time and situation, and what was happening at that meeting as well, with like the arm chopping off and all of that stuff.
I got one question to echo on that, and this isn't meant antagonistic, but this is
no
me being a little bit devil's advocate there. Is 100% that's their characters. That is absolutely fine and great. Like, because they would do that. But my thing is, why would they doom Krianza and Mira? Because they didn't want to fight.
And I agree with that. Funny enough,
Yep.
like I said, like there was multiple times that Darash was trying to get them out of there because he believed that it was on them. It was literally when the vitriol began to go after like Fionn and all the people that didn't attack, that Dash, like I realized that it was the end. And I'm not saying like that was bad as you as DM, I totally understand why they did, but if they wouldn't have touched Krianza or Fionn or any, and they only came after Dash and Pen, I was like, that would have been. We even talked about like if they were like thrown into the side, like tied up, and like you're idiots, shut the fuck up. I, as a player, I'd be like, that's how you handle a fucking idiot like me.
Yeah, and I think interestingly, Penn's side, and it wasn't sort of there was no action or engagement that made it visible, but my take on that in the moment with him was Krianza running away, Amy running away. He spent a lot of the time trying to get between everyone else and Mira because he didn't expect or require anyone else to fight with him. He was always going to fight, and he told Cademan that he was going to fight, but nor did. But then that is incongruous with what I want. I keep trying to scroll up on it, where you've got your teamwork rule. And you have to operate as a team, and
you're in a victory party.
And so, and it probably is. All of that is all part of the same thing, where we never totally clicked as a team who lived and died for each other. But Penn definitely would never have expected or wanted anyone else to jump into that situation just because he couldn't do anything but fight.
Right. Are these kind of suggestions on my Session 0 limiting because of that, then, of everyone?
No.
Basically, it's just like a suggestion as well as this time around. You know, I even have down here sacrificing sometimes like sacrificial moments can be absolutely brilliant for the story, you know. But I think it's also going forward. It's got to be one of those where don't accidentally either, like, you know, doom your fellow party. You know what I mean? Kind of.
Yeah. Do we want to make that like blaringly obvious, being like, I am putting myself on the line for this situation, so that everybody knows what the code is to continue on as a party, rather than just, I'm gonna be fighting. Oh, well, we're the party. We should all fight.
I think that's where the out of character communications can come in as well. Of just, I'm going into this and my character will do this. I know that out of character because it's at the same thing where that's one of the tiny little metagaming thing I think is fine, because it's a game where we are coming to every week and dedicating time of saying like, my character's not going to give that up. If we go in here, it might fuck you over. Know that. And I think that can be one of the few things like, I think those out of character check-ins can really echo that of so that we still don't have to limitate that all completely, but just know, be like, hey, or even giving an in character like a free insight of, you see that Bob, my character, is dead set. Do you know what I mean? Like
to be fair, we did kind of do like Penn and Cademan, especially when they were talking, and he went and got the sword and put it in front of him and all of that stuff. Like it was certainly was attempting to be really, really clear. Like, I'm going to fight, and held an action to throw a dagger at.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, an example of like sacrificing yourself that like worked out to like save the party was last campaign. We had a thing where we were hiding from the big bad, and there was like a split second where he was about to find one of our like weakest party members. So that's when I stepped out and tried to talk to him, got my hand cut off, and like got kidnapped. So I was like, that was a sacrificial moment, but it ended up saving everybody else. So I was like, and I kind of made it clear when I did that by being like, I was hiding in a wall. I was stone shaping. I was the wall. So I was like, I'm stepping out. I'm in his field of view. Everybody else is hidden.
I think just
I'm exposing myself.
Is that OOC and also just making sure like, if those moments come about, because they still can be really good, is making sure that no other characters get the short end of the stick accidentally. I think is all. It's just it. Like, and just communicating, like, and just doing whatever we can, even if that is telling me as a DM, like, I really don't want to have these, because sometimes I get clouded over myself as well. Like, I'm playing the villains, and I know, because you all didn't want the others to get hurt as well, but I also need to be told out of character sometimes too, like, just to make clear, like, oh, this character does not want these characters to get, you know what I mean? I think in those really big moments, we put a pause and just all talk out of characters for a minute and talk about how we go forward.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing, just off the back of that, is, and Nick and I have talked about it, like, it's been really good to have had this happen, as we've all said, and go through it, because we've designed restrictions on that into our new characters by nature, and it's not a painful thing to have to do to a character. It's a nice thing, because it just helps you with guidance.
You just know what direction to go to now.
Yeah,
you have to
and how your character would react.
Yeah. Another thing, this is minor. This just happens. I think everybody's done it at least once or twice. This gets a little tricky. This isn't a firm rule, but more about communicating out a party when certain battles should and shouldn't, or in character as well, when certain battles should be had and when shouldn't be had as well. You look over and you see, like, I'm playing Bob, and I say, you see that Bob is like, he's tensing up. He looks like he's about to swing on this dude. That way everyone can be like, okay, let's not, or yeah, let's get him. You know what I mean?
I'll cop that. I'm really bad for that. So
I think everybody's done it a few times, but Penn's done it a few as well. And those split moment battles shouldn't. I'm not saying do it every time, but I think a little bit more communication of even an outside, because even an out of character, like, it's even fine, I will say, to do, like, out of character, like, say out of character, I kind of want to kill these guys. What do we think? Get your opinion, and then describe it in character. After everyone gets on the same page, you can be like, Bob looks like he's tensing up. Oh, Mary looks like she's about to wield her knife. You can discuss it out of character in, like, for a second, and then just describe it in character. That way. Can
I give 2 examples where I think that it showed those different, and both of them were my fault. Obviously, attacking in the last session was one that probably could have been discussed a bit better. But then when Penn and Mira ran to the shop to sort out the fake map issue, like, I see that one as that one's fine. Like, we know if we ran. Yeah.
I think the ultimate rule is just making sure it comes back to, don't doom the party. The map thing, perfect, because it wouldn't have mattered. It wasn't huge. The other rest of the party was safe. You all went and did that decision. That's why I said this rule is really hard, because I don't want to make you all think not to make those solo split decisions, because sometimes that can definitely happen, such as smashing the amulet. Killing Marcella, I think, was also great. That was very good. Yeah, spilling info to the rifts. Things like that, I think, are really good and can have good and fun consequences. It's just those really tricky moments where it can dupe the party.
I think maybe with that rule, add something in then that is about, like, classify it as anything that either potentially jeopardizes the life of the party, not the safety of a party member in terms of damage, but actually dying. But then something that also takes away the agency from other characters, like making a decision that prevents other characters from being able to.
Yeah, I kind of got that somewhat here, but I'll add it definitely. Yeah, it's more for those moments, like, say. It's really, it's all in that. Like, we'll feel it coming on when to say, like, out of character, like, hey, my character might kill this NPC some of you like. Like, in a second, like, you look and see he's angry, like, feel free to stop me, or try to stop me. And there's a lot of different ways we can approach it. And I think
sure.
I think we'll be fine. Is everyone fine with kind of how that goes?
Yeah, definitely.
Character creation. This just gets into other stuff. I think for this one, we share our race and class. There's a lot of secrecy last campaign. I used to value the secrecy in that, but then I'm worried about. I feel really bad about. I sucked as a DM during this part last campaign. I made some mistakes of trying to keep too many surprises there, and we had my fault completely. We had a wizard whose subclass was about tomes and books, and then the warlock about tomes and books. And I was like, oh man, one of them is not gonna be able to shine. Like, I got to make sure everyone shines, and I felt really bad because I want everyone to have their own thing, So I want everyone to say their race and class this time. because we'll know it immediately. And that'll lead into my other thing in a minute, is that some of you will already know each other going into this story. So the surprise will last 2 minutes before you know anyway. So that's why I want to get racing classes out of the way. Another new thing I'd like to try, and this is from my experience in every game I've played, ever, that I would like to start maybe including as a rule, is when we go in, to give more variety and diversity into the campaign, into the characters, show your racer class as well as general traits of them. They are smart, agile, nature-oriented, deceptive, freaky, spooky, infernal, celestial. They are noble. You know what I mean? Like, very general, non-spoilery things. That way we don't get 5 spooky people or 3 really dumb people, like 3 really dumb characters. Because if you have a whole party of minus intelligences, I think we did pretty all right this campaign. But this is something I've always, I've realized from a lot of my past that I want everyone to have their own place to shine. And so, giving those general non-spoilery character vibes, like I put the character plus character things channel in here, and Tara already put gnome, trickery cleric, fun and games, deceptive and tricky, but also loyal and kind. Like, that already gives you a vibe of that character. So if you were thinking, oh, I'm gonna play like a tricky deceptive person, like, oh, maybe I can still do that, but not, that's kind of someone else's as well. Like, you can, it's not that you can't double up, but it's, you can put your own spin on those types of traits if you want as well. It's to make diversity, I think that's a good idea for this campaign. That way everyone gets their own shining spot.
I think one of our great strengths as a party, which we've always said as well, is that we're all good role players. And so a lot of that stuff is very, very easy to pick up because we're all good at playing our characters and we're all committed to it and consistent with it as well. So it's good that it's in there, but I think that...
that's more for character creation, honestly, because we'll be making our character solo. That way someone doesn't accidentally make a human fighter who drinks a lot and lies, and then someone else makes a human fighter who drinks a lot and lies.
Yeah, definitely.
That would be on my bad, because no one knows about it, so it's no one's fault. It's just, that would be my bad. So I want to just make sure that's up and clear. Keep your backstory secret, OOC, like last time. Simply because figuring out in character is fun, and you get to reveal those things. Also, because if you spill your, I know it's your character, but if you spill your character's story to someone OOC, you spill my story as well, because I got stuff with those stories. So, but we're good on that as well. Double up races and classes. Double ups are fine. That's what I've always said. However, both people have to agree and talk about it. And the new firm rule that this didn't pertain to last campaign, but this is just something that I've learned from all games that I've played, is if there's a double up in classes, the other person's should be that multi-class. So if someone's what's a really multi-class, well, warlock, and someone else wants to be a warlock, they should maybe go paladin with a little bit of warlock, or sorcerer with a little bit of warlock, not just warlock. You know what I mean? Because I agree that there's different subclasses and whatnot, but even having a warlock tome and a wizard tome, already I struggled as a DM I wanted to give you all cool shit, and I struggled a little bit there from my spot. So I want to make sure everyone gets cool stuff there. And races are a little different anyway. That's not as big. That's really, any double ups are really up to you all as a group. Here's the thing I want to try. One of you will be paired up with somebody. Your character will know someone going in. Whether you've known each other for 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, or longer, you all will have at least a little bit of knowing each other going into this. I will basically see what you all write, and where it makes sense, and be like, you would make sense for you to know you for the last week, and then we talk, and I'd put you on to a private call, and you both can decide just how long it's been. A week, more, whatever. And we decide what little bits you already know about each other. Enough to establish some relationships going in. That also adds to the meshing of, and working as a team a little better, because 2 people already know.
I love it. I love that.
Yeah. And here's something I want to try. If schedules are available, and just how it goes, I would like to try to do a mini session of like an hour at least or something with each group leading up to it, which would be kind of session 0 for you all to try out your abilities, but also to know that other character. A session with each little group heading up, depending on schedules and.
So I was going to say off the back of that as well, it would be good to record those, but we won't be able to publish them. But they would be an excellent thing to watch, like way later.
Depending on what happens in them, you could listen to them maybe after the first like few sessions, maybe as long as nothing huge happens, because then you would already know each other anyway. But after the first couple of sessions, I think you could. But yeah, I definitely want to record this. Is everyone on board with that?
I like that a lot. Yeah. Like you were saying, creating the cohesion, even between like little small subsections, and then mixing that in.
Yeah,
would just make that so much easier.
I love that you decide as well based on what you know of all of our stories, because you'll be able to pick and intertwine those far better than we will. So it will be a nice, like, almost don't tell us who we're having the session with.
Yeah.
So we turn up and we're like, oh, it's you.
Yeah. More of just, how would you know each other in recent times? Or if your backstories really make sense, then you could be together, maybe you've even met each other years ago. Now they're at the wedding together. It could be something like that, too. We'll see. I think it's going to be fun to do that. I think it's going to be really fun. I'm excited for, and it's going to be a challenge for me. So here's something I admit with Bowcaster. And it's obvious. I didn't do good with NPCs this campaign. I don't think. I didn't do good with characterizing and role-playing NPCs very well. And
I
don't know.
Disagree.
I think the way I think I'm worse at it, I'm not used to having a webcam or playing in person for a long time.
Right.
I feel like I've lost so much of playing my characters and describing what they're actually doing because you all can see me, and I feel like my brain sometimes tells me, they can see me, it's fine, but I'm not actually describing as I used to how we did it. Okay. Even in Call of Cthulhu with Trey and Tara, I feel like I described those characters and what they were doing and their mannerisms and what they were doing so much better, but I'm trying to get better. I'm just getting used to the webcam. I'm just going to try to.
Do we want to get
for my
webcam?
I was just about to ask that.
I'm cool with it's totally up to y'all, but I like webcam just to watch reactions. It makes me feel
I really
more
like
I'm at the table.
I like webcam.
Okay, cool.
Webcam gives more. I just need to work on separating that in my head. It's just a weird feeling, you know what I mean?
I love seeing you all, but I also loved that first episode when we didn't have webcams, because it was entirely
pros and cons.
Yeah.
There's definitely pros and cons. All of my last campaign was all voice. It was very much all in the head, and with webcams, I love seeing y'all's reactions, but I lose a tiny bit of all of that in the head. It's pros and cons, honestly. This will be a fun challenge because we have a wedding and a caravan for me to NPC. There's going to be a shit ton of them. But real quick, Tara, before we get in on the caravan and wedding thing, because we're leaving on the caravan, we're already going to have NPCs we might like or hate. We're going to have NPCs we have a relationship with because we're going to be stuck on a caravan with them after the wedding. So we don't have to just meet strangers all the time. We have at least a few NPCs who will be from the get-go, which I'm excited about.
Here's a little idea, and I don't know if it'd work. So my character, I intend for him to have, for argument's sake, let's just say at least one family member, right? Whether it's a child or a wife or whatever. Maybe we could all have an NPC who isn't pivotal to the early storyline, so that if like Tara's character is talking to that particular NPC, we do the NPC. I don't know if that would work. NPC?
That I think that'd be good for a smaller thing, honestly, or like a one shot. Okay. That might be a little chaotic on me as well to have to. I know it takes off less.
Yeah, because it's too much unknown. Yeah.
Honestly, at that point, I think I'd rather play them, because if you all play them and start improving shit that I was like, it goes against everything about this NPC.
Yeah, too much risk, right?
It's two human minds going against each other and trying to run the same thing. You know what I mean? I think for a one shot that'd be really fun, in my opinion. But I think for a long campaign, I would fumble at it.
I think with that anyway, actually, now that because it just occurred to me, I hadn't been thinking it, but if you think about Tax and the way that everyone engaged with Tax, and we said this the other day, like, I think Tax was really, really easy, and we both sort of ran him from time to time, like with his reactions, because it was never influencing the story in a particular way.
Yeah, he was a little bit more simple than that. Also, if someone were to do an NPC, you would have to know a lot about. If someone were to roleplay Terra's NPC, you would have to know a lot about Terra's character in order to.
Yeah,
It would give a little
true.
spoilers, unfortunately. I'd like to do that for a one shot, but
Yeah, it would be cool, eh?
that would be. I think in the setting that would be nice.
I just want to argue with myself.
Yeah. If let's see. Oh, here's another. Yes, here's another thing. I would like, and we didn't have a problem with this last time at all. This is for the campaign before last, where I said we're playing in a shawl, and then like hardly anyone played. It's from a shawl, so I'm like, I have to give you information on other continents as well as a shawl now. At least 2 people be from a shawl, maybe. Or at the very least, if you're not from a shawl, you've at least been here long enough to have connections and know some places in a shawl. You know what I mean? Because now, like I said the other day, I don't want to give everyone too much homework, but you all can go as much as you want and ground yourselves to the campaign more. I'm giving you all the handbook, which is going to be more thorough, so you can look at places and assume your character knows certain things if you'd like. Anything you'd like, basically. But
If it helps, mine's very short. So
Yeah.
I can be one of those.
I am as well.
no, well, that's already 2, so we're golden. And if you aren't from a shawl, at least you've maybe been a shawl enough to know some places. And to know some people. These are just a lot of races, which I can send afterwards. These are more of the non-humanoid, centaur, fairy, because those are just weird. Those are hard. The Gith, just because those are more Forgotten Realms-centric characters, where they are more to that lore than mine.
What the
The
hell
rabbit
is an
folk.
auto-gnome?
They are very new. They're in the space setting. They're little mechanical gnomes in the space setting that just came out. They're
Droids.
fun, but a little hard. I also don't want to step on Crown's because it was good as a one-time focus, but if we start getting more and more, it loses that specialness. The rabbit folk, the Kinku, I would say you can, as long as you have something that's common, because Kinku are the ones who have to remember everything they ever have said before and heard, and that is hard.
It's rough.
Yeah, you can be
I've
Kinku
seen
if you
people
have a
do it
reason.
really well, but it's rough.
Yeah. Most of these are the weird ones, like the space ones, the oozes and all that, and if you're, anything but that, mostly humanoid. Most of these are common sense.
Big elephant.
I love the elephants, and you can play them, but this is more of a lore reason why
Yeah,
they're not in
yeah.
elephant. They exist, just not in the shawl, unfortunately, and that was more of that reason. They have a very specific lore part in Dolaress.
I also feel like they'd just be kind of restricting a little bit because
They're big.
isn't their size giant?
They're not giant. I think
no,
they're
they're
huge.
they're
Roll for
medium.
stealth.
Are they?
Yeah, they're on the tall edge of medium. They're like Goliath.
just like Goliath. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think any race goes above medium technically.
No.
But that's more for a lore reason why the elephants aren't here. But yeah.
Mm.
In-game knowledge. I'm reorganizing and updating that handbook for you all. And you don't have to read it, but I'd like if you at least skimmed it before we start, just so you might see something pertaining to the world that you're like, I could use that in my backstory. I want you to at least have opportunities to see something you might like. But if you want to read it, you can. And it will have, worldly knowledge. And depending on how common it is, this is something I was talking about with Tara a lot, with Mira. It's because Mira was so hard. Because Tara knows a lot about my setting, like the general stuff, like no spoilery types, but just knows the regions and whatnot, but Mira knows nothing. It was hard to know what Mira knew. So if you are from a shawl and you are from this region, and if you read the handbook, feel free to be like, I know that shit already, and not be like, oh, like my character might not know that. If it's general enough to you think you would, feel free to use it. Also with that, I have on here, feel free to improv little elements. I know Trey did this a lot last campaign of improving little world bits that won't change the world, but add little things of out of nowhere, just be like, oh yes, there's this one fish that I have back home. Like, I didn't make that fish, Trey made that fish, but it's fine because it's nothing that's gonna affect the world too much.
Just so I could give Tax a fucking nickname. Hell yeah.
And feel free to make an NPC on the fly, as long as it's not a huge NPC. Like, oh yeah, I knew Bob back in college. He taught me this one thing, but he didn't know much about it. Little things like that, where you won't send a red light to me like, I don't know about this character. If it's small enough, improv it. Fine. Don't think you can't, basically, is what I'm saying here. This isn't a do it, it's more of a don't feel restricted in that you can't say certain things, and I will get mad as a DM and be like, that's not true. You can. And worst comes to shove, if there's something that won't fly, I'll just be like, actually, it doesn't really work with things. And that's it. So I just won't want you to feel restricted. This is an example relating on like the Zeke thing. I wrote down an example is, oh yeah, if you say in character out of nowhere, we have these special birds back home that have this odd coloration. I've seen them since I was a kid, but nowhere else in the world. Sure, that's a world thing now. Why not? OOC stuff. This is more general game stuff. This one's a little more heavier, so we'll have to work with each other on character stuff, and I'll have questions every now and then, basically, and. Yeah, I might have some questions every now and then wherever the story goes, and I'll need those basically. Since we're going a lot more in depth, it's a lot more for me to keep track of. So I will occasionally have tiny little homeworks of who's that who would have been this person in your backstory, or would you have gone here, stuff like that. I'll probably pop questions every now and then, but not too often. Here's the thing, guests. We've iterated this before, but we've never talked about it as a group. Are we okay with guest appearances? I don't have like a whole lineup of people waiting at the door, but just so I know, because I like to have guests every once in a while.
Yeah, and never
Guest.
tell us.
Love a guest.
Yeah, you'd rather be a surprise?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure I'm clear. Tara, you good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting Tara's dad to play with us next. I'm just...
Hell yeah.
Gary's joining us.
Gonna be the groom.
Nope.
Gary.
Also, just to know, if I were to get a guest, they would be here from 1 to 5 sessions. They could be here for a little handful. Are people cool with that, depending on the guest?
Yeah.
Because I've done guests
Like
before, and
it's
sometimes having them here with 1 session isn't enough.
Yeah.
But like 1 to 3-ish can be enough to have them here, have a little arc, and then leave.
Yeah.
Schedules, since we're on Wednesdays right now, try to let everyone have 48 hours. We've said that. Here's the thing I want to try. This is the last thing on the list. The last thing I want to try, and we actually touched on this last session by accident, and it got me thinking. If at least 2 people can make it, we play. But it's extremely dependent on where we are on the story. My thinking is, we don't have to do this rule. This is a rule that my OG game had, and it worked really well, because no matter if someone had to miss, we often got a game. So my thing is, if 2 players can come, we have a game. But it's really dependent on what's happening in the story. If we are in the middle of something, like a dungeon, or the whole group's doing something, we're not going to have it. I'm not going to just play without anybody, basically. I'm not going to play without any of those characters. But because this campaign's a little bit more freeing, and we're not just in Bowcaster the whole time, say last session we were about to set off on traveling to another town far away. Someone can't make it, or 2 people can't make it. Oh, well, we're just going to travel. I was going to skip to that town, but I don't want to do that town without you all. So let's do a travel session, and we see what a little mini quest on the way. Basically, it would be nothing that would make anybody feel left out. I wouldn't do anything important. Say if Trey, you were having a big character, like next session you're doing big character stuff, of course I'm not going to have the session, because we can't have it without you there. But if the time, it's really dependent on where we are. Is everyone fine with maybe trying that?
I am so cool with that. I think that, the session should be prioritized to the people that can make it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only reason I say that is because we play once a week now. We were lucky to get those 2 weeks, but we play once a week, and sometimes we can't make those, and and it would be very dependent where we are. And if we did those little sessions, it would be many stuff that no one would be too bad about being left out. Little one-shots thrown into the campaign, essentially, that makes sense on where we are.
Yeah.
Like, two characters can go have a little duo couple of hours, and then we pick up where we were. Is everyone cool with that?
Yeah.
Because I still would never do anything without anybody. That was important, basically. I hope not, at least. I'm trying not to. And I definitely wouldn't want to do anything big. And that's all I got on that. That's my dump from the DM side, basically.
That's that on that.
I know that's a lot, but that's all my thoughts the past few days. Does anybody have any thoughts, questions, concerns? This was the business meeting, the Dolaressian business meeting.
I love it. I'm pumped.
Very good ground, not rules, but guidelines and stuff.
I feel like a lot more beneficial than restraining, I would hope.
Yeah. Gives us a really good jumping start from where our mind should be.
Yeah. Because everybody's a different human. We're 5 different human minds playing this game and seeing it different ways. It's hard to cohesively put that together.
Yeah, and a lot of us have different type of roleplay experience. So you as the DM going, hey, this is the best way I can DM for you. is a good thing for us to know as players, especially because we're all adaptive.
Yeah. Honestly, a lot of this is not against you guys. It is to help me where I'm comfortable, so I can, where I know I cannot have too much trouble running the game better.
Right.
Basically. And I'll send this to you all. But before we depart, basically, do want to talk real quick about classes so we can start thinking. Because I don't want anybody to get too thought in onto their character process and then I don't know, and then 3 people are playing the same class, or people decide, oh, my backstory and your backstory are... Well, we can't talk backstory-wise, but like I said, like, I'm Infernal themed, and so are you. Like, oh, maybe I don't want to be Infernal anymore, because you know what I mean? So shall we talk ideas, like initial ideas about that?
If we still have the time to do that.
Yeah, where are we at with
go
that?
first.
Sorry, say again?
We're talking about classes and races.
We're talking about
Yeah, so
characters
your
now.
idea of what your character, class, race,
Druid.
situation.
Are you going with Druid?
Yeah.
Did you say
I'm also going to give you a
Orc
link.
Druid?
Furbolg.
Oh, thank you.
Furbolg Druid.
Sorry, you were picking up on mine. That was my bad.
Yeah, and he is... So, sorry, I was reading something from the handbook, actually. What was the rest of that we're telling? Right now?
Well, if you want to
Like-
look in, I think it's new characters, possibly.
Oh, right, like equivalent of what
Yeah, it's kind of something like I said.
About this as well.
Okay, yeah, so Furbolg Druid, who is not a classic fighter, nor does he enjoy it, but it won't be restrictive. And he's there because, or his nature is calm and would appear somewhat plodding.
More dopey.
Yeah.
Dopey
Well,
natured.
he's often misunderstood as being slow-witted when in fact he isn't. But it's because he's thoughtful and careful with his articulations, and he takes his time to think about what he says before he says it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so not at all impulsive. The anti-pen, basically.
The anti-pen!
Well, make sure, this is what we talked about the other day, it was just a few of us. We talked casually about how playing a challenge character but wanting to go back to their comfort, is this going to be comfortable for you? Like, are you... Because a lot of time people, their second or third characters are, I'm going to play the complete opposite, but then they don't enjoy it. Are you going to enjoy it? That's the most important part.
Pen was very comfortable for me, but I'm really going to enjoy this character. I really like him more than Pen. Well, I said to Nick yesterday, actually, one of the interesting things, because I love Pen as a character. I really enjoyed playing him. I loved him because he's spontaneous and silly, not very serious. But I actually discovered things that I didn't like about Pen as the story went on, which is great. I mean, that was really interesting anyway. But
Bound to with every character at some point. Find things that you like and don't like. Both or can be surprises. Are you for sure on Druid? Or I know you've been thinking about too. Are you for sure on Druid? Or are you still? Because this is the early stage. We don't have to decide now either.
Yeah,
this is
right now.
Idea.
Right now,
Right
I'm
now.
absolutely for sure on Druid. It's actually because of a key backstory and motivation aspect is based around that.
I like it. Yeah. And for the rest of you as well, treat this as a right now thing as well to talk about, because I don't want anyone to be rushed either. But I like the Druid Furbolg. That's fun.
In fact, Furbolg, I'm pretty of the two Furbolg Druid, Furbolg is the one that I'm not 100% on,
fair.
but he'll be a Furbolg Druid. I'm pretty sure I've written him as a Furbolg Druid.
Right.
What about the rest of you?
I'm thinking about a Satyr Rogue.
Ooh.
Unsure of the subclass currently. But depending on that subclass, it can change. So they have Swashbuckler, which is more like, oh, I'm gonna parry you and like dance around you and stuff and like stab you a few times. So that's gonna be like more of a gallivanting kind of like cocky persona. Whereas the other one,
Had a rogue.
yeah. definitely loving to those that are close to them. I haven't thought too much about like the personality type.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I was literally doing this morning.
Yeah.
What's up?
You got goat patooties? You got goat legs? You got little hooves?
Goat leg. I got some hooves. I got some like little horns.
I
I already have character art.
Yeah. Oh, when we get done here, if everybody wants to type those into the new server, if you would, into the I guess session 0, just so that we can remember what everyone's thinking right now.
Yeah.
You mentioned Rogue as well. I know you were struggling against Bard as well. Rogue and Bard of Swords goes really well together. Just brainstorming. And just what I know.
I'm full Rogue.
Full Rogue. I dig it. I dig it a lot. I was just trying to just thinking. I like it. I don't think I've ever had a Rogue before.
I was looking through like all of the classes and everything and seeing like their subtypes, and I really want to do Rogue, so
that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be nice for you to play a character that's not as closed.
Yeah.
Andrew as well.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to see everybody's
again.
Having one
situation.
Yeah, having always closing one campaign's kind of sad, but seeing it is seeing everybody. It's straight up seeing an actor in a new TV show with two different. It's a different role. It's always fun. It's always interesting seeing what everyone else can do.
One of the things that I was thinking, and I told Trey and Milky this earlier, have that satyr be blind.
Ooh.
So I don't know if we can definitely talk about like what that characteristics would be like and the disadvantages and advantages of that would be. But that's one of the things that I was thinking of toying with.
I dig it. We can definitely workshop and see how we want to go about that. So that can be fun. That can be super fun.
I can help as a mostly blind person.
You can halfway help. You can halfway help. I'm so sorry.
To touch on that, I think it's funny that my character is extremely nearsighted.
You got big old glasses, don't you?
I have humongous glasses.
Thick limbs. You want to say who you thinking? I think you're pretty set from living with you in here, and you're pretty set.
I am very set. I feel confident that I could even go ahead and share my character art. But yeah, I'll do it.
Because I gotta make your tokens. I'm gonna work on a new landing page too. Oh, I'm revamping the map. I'm at least trying to without pulling out every bit of my hair. So I like the style of the old map. It's gonna be a different drawn style just because it's a little easier and it won't take forever. But I have to change it because for so long now I've been picturing a shawl properly. That was the first map I made, so I'm gonna give you all a shawl properly, especially if you all are gonna be traveling. I gotta have the shawl planned out. Like, in terms of, all the places and lore is the same, I just been moving shit and expanding.
Sorry, I needed that to be the first gift in the new.
I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss it. I love it. We can also pop this, we can go ahead and move over to the new Session 0 in the new server as well. We've got all the stuff in there. I sent you an invite, Tara, for it. And I think I got everybody on that.
Yeah, there it is. I was like, where?
Yeah. What are we laughing at?
I was like, everybody's left me.
Well, yeah. What are you playing? You want to talk about her? I know you put a little bit in the text.
Hang on, I'm gonna. Do we have a place for characters over here, or should I just leave it in the current discount?
Avengers and Dolaress. I got character stuff in Session 0. Yep.
Where's that?
Character.
Campaign
it's
chat.
pretty much a mirror of the last
stuff.
one.
Got it.
There it is.
Yeah, character stuff in Session 0. You can put it in either, honestly. And just when we get down here, if everyone will type in what we've talked about with our characters in here, just so we know.
So she is a trickery cleric. She's a gnome. Very much loves fun and games. Loves to bet. Will bet you anything. But she's deceptive and tricky at times. But she's also really sweet. She likes to be nice and she likes to help out.
Would she get upset if she loses a bet?
No.
The way that you said
makes
that makes me question.
I don't know
Not
your
exactly.
full backstory yet, but I feel like at least a part of that's going to be at the casino and
Is she lucky?
Well, maybe.
Maybe the Darson is good, maybe not as lucky. That's gonna be fun. Got a cleric, possibly what do we got? Cleric, a druid, and we got a rogue. That's fun.
And then
Trey, what are you thinking?
What you got, Tezza?
definitely a tiefling. I'm going the queer route.
Shock.
But imagine. But it is between barbarian or fighter.
Baron and fighter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Paladin
That's a
is my
good one.
favorite class, but I need to stay away from Zeke for now. So
That's fair.
going fighter or barbarian.
To be fair, you got to play the paladin for 5 sessions,
Exactly. And
so you could go pally, a different version of a pally.
I think it's going to be in his arc. That's why I'm like, I will wait for him to find that arc.
Multi-class.
Right? That's all I was like, we'll see as it goes down. But he is a little bit of a bully without meaning to be. He is a father. And he is a doting, nurturing person. But he also wasn't made to be a father, so he comes off as more mean than he means to. But he's also, like, sympathetic. He is a little wild in the fact of, not like Dolaress wild, but in the fact that he is so unbelievably curious, and he wants to solve everything and be useful, because it's that father part of him, while also trying to solve shit that doesn't need to be solved.
Call
Self-insert.
your character daddy.
I swear to God, I know. Imagine. I swear to God.
That doesn't mean to.
And he loves to bake, so just a little bit of a self-insert, okay? A bit.
I love it. So we got rogue, druid, cleric, and fighter or barb.
Lot beefier.
Yeah, we got some beefiers because a druid, even while they are magic based, I told you this yesterday, Manners, and I think Tara knows as well. In my first game, we had a guy who would come. One of our best friends. He never roleplayed. He didn't do anything. He's very quiet in real life. And doesn't roleplay. Has no personality. He is nothing. He would come and play with us. We love him though. He's a good dude. He would just play druid and min-max the fuck out of it. And he swarms and swarms of flying snakes. And he would solo bosses. And we were like. One time, me and another party member were trapped, and like we were robbing a bank vault, and we were in there, and we teleported in, and we left him out, and we're like, oh god, he's gonna die. He killed everything in the room, including the boss, and we were like, okay, druids can be beefy too.
Jesus Christ.
Depending on the cleric, you can go, but trickery cleric, I don't know how beefy you can get, but you're beefier than Mira.
What? I don't. Let me see if I can find Azalea's character sheet and see how beefy she got. She was pretty beefy.
You got a D8. Everyone's a D8 and above, which is good. Taj, are you little satyr or big satyr? Like tall satyr or little satyr? Because they can be both, I imagine.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how they are in D&D, but I feel like they should totally be. They could be either or. Satyrs could be tall or small.
With your dance and stabby stab, is that less sneak attack, rogue?
Oh,
Is
it's
that-
absolutely sneak attack. But where is it?
You're not there, and then suddenly I'm here and I'm everywhere. And I'm
Yeah,
all
you're
over
here.
you.
Yeah, like drinking.
You can
I
you can
think-
strike and slip away without reprisal. That's what it says. So you can attack and then just move. Like if you're in the middle of a crowd, you could stab somebody and just get out.
It's
of it.
Assassin's Creed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rogues are really good at being right in your
Oh.
face, and you cannot find them again. And then suddenly they're behind you and hitting you. And they're not
Yeah.
using magic; they are just really good at getting around the place.
Getting a bit. So probably honestly small then. Like just
We're
to
gonna have two small,
blend in a little bit.
two small. We're gonna have two regular size, then two smalls.
Holy
Oh,
shit.
We got some size variety. We had our short little Dolaress and short little Zake, but
And
I've
then
never
we
had
all
anyone.
the talls.
Yeah, I've never had any of my games. No one's ever gone with a small race like gnome, halfling, anything. This will be a
Mhm.
first, which is
I'm
fun.
3 feet tall.
The dog is big.
Yeah.
I love it actually. Yeah, because I'm going tall with him. You know me, I'm extreme. So.
Yeah.
So like that's gonna be awesome to have like tiny short one of really big fucking dudes.
That's gonna be fun. It also changes up everything because a lot of creatures and monsters have things where if a creature is smaller, then they can do certain things, or it's really cool and it can benefit you all. As you all also have 25 feet of movement instead of 30, but you all can get into little places more than other people can. It really is interesting for everybody. I think having different sized characters, especially the talls and the smalls. That's fun. I'm loving it. And we got. Oh, here's something I was talking about as well, real quick, just to make sure. So far, it sounds like we got a good overlap. We've got because for a few minutes there, I was concerned a little bit. Like a few days ago, I was worried about. Yesterday, I was worried about having too many main scores. Like I was worried of wisdom. I thought we were gonna have a wisdom full party, and at that point, everyone has because those main scores were also tied to skills, so everyone would be good at perception and insight and everything and investigation, and then no one else would be, or etc. But right now, I think we've got cleric wisdom, druid wisdom, and then dex and strength or dex. So that's a pretty good spread.
Yeah.
Our magic's the same, but everything else is pretty good. And then with those dex and strengths, you also have your secondaries as well, which can be high.
Yeah.
So I think we've got a good spread, which I like. What does everyone think?
I'm pumped. This is gonna be fucking good.
So excited.
Can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait.
I think other things of right now just to talk about, or just to think on, I guess, in the next few days. Be careful how deep you go. Just be ready to ground whatever you all write in the meantime. Be ready to, because like I said, I really want everyone properly grounded. We did that pretty good last time, but I want everyone to have locations that they know about and where they've been and whatnot. So I'm preparing I'm updating the handbook. It's going to be reorganized and not too much, but enough added. And I'm going to give you all a document for character creation of when I finish the map, hopefully in a few days. I'm going to give you all the new map, and I'm going to have each location, each town and city, with a sentence or two about each one of them. That way you can just be like, don't like that one, like, doesn't fit, that fits my vibe, I'll go there. You can just already get a vibe, and then if you want, you'd be like, this one, from the one sentence, it fits my vibe. Can you tell me more about it? And then I can tell you as much as you want, and then you can decide if you want to be there. Basically, I'm trying to make it the easiest way to learn about all these places without actually taking time, basically. And then we will begin our process of one-on-one character working and character stats and stories and grounding, and maybe look at the Pantheon. Like I said, that's handbook stuff. Basically, at the moment, write and brainstorm. And in a few days, I'm hopefully going to give you all my stuff, and then we will begin proper character creation. Yeah, look at the Pantheon, look at the guilds, and I'll also give you the guilds and the Pantheons are there. Unless I add anything to the Pantheon, to the guilds. Everything else should be there. I'm going to put a little thing on the government and the history of Ashal in the two countries. And yeah, mostly what you're waiting for from me as well is the locations list. So we can really figure out where you've been, who you know, and because those places could affect you. Is everyone excited? I know this is a lot, but
So excited.
Yeah, I'm excited.
some serious mainly get everyone on the same page.
Can't wait. I want to go now.
Does anyone have any questions about each other, or anything that you need to know before we depart?
When do you want us to send you our backstory?
Whenever you'd like, but also be open-minded for me to digest it, and also to when I get the other stuff done. Like, go ahead and do it now, but also be ready to change it be ready to look at the handbook stuff the document I'm putting out, and be ready to adapt it to certain things.
Yeah, no, I expected essentially sending it to you as a rough draft, saying, because I'm obviously gonna wait until you give out the handbook and everything. I just wanted to see if you want it in advance.
Yep. Speaking of that, here's something I want to try for this campaign, and this is the last thing I have for you all. This is the other thing I want to try. Because popping our backstories and what in the Discord and whatnot, and me having it on scratches of paper and everything was a little hard for me to keep up with everybody's stories last campaign. I got a Google Docs folder, a folder for each of you all. You all will have access to each of your own folders. Dump anything and everything you want in there. I won't touch it. That'll be your space. Dump anything and how you write. That way you don't have to worry about me and my folders in there or my formatting and whatnot. Dump whatever you want in there and however order you like in that folder. That way I just have a streamline to access whatever you're thinking while we're working on it.
Love it.
So pop in whatever you want, whenever you want, but just be open-minded and be ready to ground that story. Basically, from the week right now is rough drafts, and just be ready to reshape it into the setting and the history and whatnot.
Yeah, I think right now, everything I have written for my backstory is like, this person like this, looks like this, and then I'm like, and then blank location. And I'm like, so I'm like, I have them, but like where I'm gonna pick is gonna change a little bit of it.
Yeah. Did you hear all that matters? Your webcam.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So
I'm actually with X's for locations and names and ages.
Yeah. And I'm hoping to finish that map in a few days. At the very least, I'm going to get a rough map together where the locations will be, and then I will do that location sheet because that will help a lot.
Oh.
And so from here on out is just talking to each other and building up.
I love you all. Can't wait.
See, Mickey.
Bye.
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 As for the rest of you, thank you for session 0. I look forward to working with you all. If you're still interested in the game.
Nah.
Gotta check. I know it's a lot for this one, but I feel like everyone's had their good practice, and I feel like everyone would have even more fun if you all and me, if we all go in big. I guess I'm excited. I get to work on a new map.
Could you, for my brain, write down somewhere like some requirements that you want to have, like in the backstory? Like I know that you said like 5 NPCs or something.
Just at least 2 or 3, like some, just at least some, like no rough number, just some that can be pulled on.
Give me rough number. Give me things you want.
3 and up. 3 and up of NPCs. Give me 3, and they can be spread out or together, and then you can go beyond that.
Okay, I was going to say, is there a max? Because
No.
I have. Oh, thank God! Because I have so many.
Trey is gonna make like a whole family
I have
tree.
so many.
I don't think there's a max. I won't say anything about what Manners is doing, but Manners is making things interesting for me at the moment.
Fantastic.
For the beginning of this, which I love, because he's doing something. Penn had no NPCs, and Manners is having NPCs now.
He's not even like Ethan for this whole campaign doesn't even need to make NPCs. It's like everyone's actually making NPCs for me. I'm just gonna pick and choose randomly.
Yeah, 3 to 5 NPCs, just to know, and they don't have to be together. They can be spread out through different ways, but 3 for me to pull on, or more. That way, I just have NPCs to pull on throughout the game, whether they show up or not, or whether it's just for you all to talk about. Who knows? Not everyone might not show up, but some might, depending on how integral they are to your story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put these folders over. Is there any last little bits? I know we're pretty much done here, but
Nah, all good. It's hyped.
I think, yeah, I hope everyone's excited. I certainly am. I want to really try on my side as well to get better at things, as to do things a little bit more organized and go better. I'm excited, and I'm putting a new landing page together, and I don't think I could get them in the mail in time, but I'm giving wedding invitations out.
Stop. I love it.
But new landing page, new map, which may not be as pretty, but it's at least going to be show everything reflective. And new handbook will be coming. Our new Discord, this Discord currently are archived, basically. So the Adventures in Dolaress one will be our primary Discord, and I'll be popping things in there and mute the pings if you like. I'm not going to ping a lot, but whenever I send something new, like a map or like the handbook, I will ping just to make sure I don't want anyone to miss it. But I won't do it many, so it'll be annoying. But I will ping just so turn that off if you really don't want it. But just to make sure that no one misses it, because I'd hate to send something and then someone be like, "Oh, I didn't see it by accident," because Discord has a lot of channels. I think that's it. I think that's it for me. I
have a
hope
wonder if
everyone...
I'm gonna know Trey, because
I don't know.
We both might be working on the caravan.
Yeah, that's what funny enough when you said it, I was like, oh, well, at the very
Yeah.
least, we'll most likely know of each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, is the
that's my
wedding people from the caravan, or
Mhm.
is it the caravan is bringing supplies and people to it?
Yeah. Basically, this
Okay.
wedding has hired this caravan to help come set up and to bring certain guests. Not
Gotcha.
related, just literally hiring them.
Okay.
I thought it'd be interesting to have two entry points to it. You could be from the wedding or the caravan, but ultimately we'll join the caravan afterwards. But yeah, just two different big opportunities, but unrelated at the moment. Or in certain cases, like Trey, you mentioned, I don't know what you're thinking, but you were part of both somehow, which I like. There can be multiple ways here. And touching on that as well, on you two knowing each other, I would say even if even if you're both on the caravan or both in the wedding, the people I pair you up with might be not that person. Just because you're both are at the wedding or at the caravan might not be the person It really depends on where your story has led to here and what what would make sense for, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's not a limit. I could be Tara and Trey. You know each other, but Trey, you also know Stosh.
True,
Mhm.
yeah.
It could be different pairings. It could be all kinds of. I want the minimum of two, basically, of knowing two, basically. I'm excited. I'm excited because
fucking pumped.
this is going to be a challenge. Balmoral was like, it's a small town, everybody's wandering in, and that's it. And now I have like a bajillion NPCs at the wedding and the caravan, and I'm intertwining you all. It's a lot, but I'm liking that, actually.
I request we start on Wednesday.
Yeah, we can
Start on
I
Wednesday.
fucking agree. You have no, like, I'm gonna be spending all of this work time fucking working on this. I'm so
I
hyped.
only just found my race in class today.
Yeah.
Same.
We
Like,
gotta
I found
do
it
it.
yesterday. I'm in. Let's do it.
Sure,
I
no such
did
zero
it
has happened, but I was like, maybe we'll do
Friday.
a new campaign. Then everybody was like, I got characters lined up. I think
I
we're
already
planning on
have
the 19th.
ideas. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the 19th is
That's what we had
when
said.
we're aiming
far
for.
Where is
It
that
is.
like 100 character thing that somebody sent in? Was that in the tavern?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Trey, if you want to move that over to the new one.
Yeah, happily.
Please?
Happily.
I'm gonna real quick. These in
Oh,
here.
it's
I'm gonna.
past all of those.
Yeah, I got you. I'll do it for you.
Thank you.
Real quick before I let you all go, in the you know how you all have your private little channels? Can you all see those at the moment in the new one?
No,
You all see no channels.
No.
I do not see any.
Good. Okay. I wanted to make sure that I didn't actually I didn't give access to everybody, basically. Let me look. Oh, this is because I'm gonna add in those links to those Google Docs. Wherever else you write them, I just ask that you copy them over into that Google Docs folder. That way, that will be the center, the filter that goes right to me of seeing everything, basically. How do I give you permissions? Add members. Here we go. This is Tara. Make sure that's the right channel for you, Tara. This is Trey.
Yep, I can see.
This is Manners. Manners. This is Dosh. Add members or roles. Stosh. You should have your little private little things. I'm going to quickly give you the links to edit. Share. Do you all want me to just give you the links, or do you want me to add your actual email address? I don't know what's easier or better.
You can just
Probably
add mine.
links, yeah.
Okay. I can add you, Tara.
Knowing me, I'll jump on 3 different fucking Google accounts because I don't know how to separate my life.
Well, that's fair. Anyone with link can edit. Yeah. Another goal of this one is for me just to be more organized with character stuff for you all. So this is Tosh. This should be yours.
Thanks.
This is Tara's.
I don't know. I'm gonna put it in character stuff. I'm so sorry.
But what? Oh no, that's fine. I thought you
Do
meant
we
the
want to
link.
put that up top?
And
So move
then
Terrace.
this
below
is-
Put it in every channel. Just put it in every channel.
Every
There we
channel
go.
is filled
Oh,
with.
fuck. Enjoy.
This is you, Tara. Trying. I don't want to take any more time from you. This is.
What time are you taking? What?
I don't know.
You're not.
I was just about to say, Milky was the one you had to worry about.